What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Milwaukee Bucks assistant coach Darvin Ham yesterday, for the first time publicly, confirmed what we already knew, and that is that he was wrongfully terminated by the Los Angeles Lakers. He spoke about how any other coach on any other team that performed in the manner that he did would have received an extension. Somehow, a guy showing confidence in his abilities as a coach, showing confidence in what he did, his results as a head coach, is somehow being flamed. He's been flamed by all these haters all over social media. J.R. Smith recently chimed in on this situation with Darvin Ham, and he called out the Lakers for scapegoating Darvin Ham, saying that the problem was never Darvin Ham, the problem was the team. Said, quote, J.R. Smith, former NBA player, quote, Darvin Ham was a scapegoat. What are you supposed to do with that roster? Cam Reddish coming off the bench. I feel like he can be better, for sure. I feel like his game is the type that you can have an opportunity to run a second unit, but you got to develop some more pick and rolls and mature your game a little bit. Other than that, their bench is non-existent. You got LeBron trying to be 2005, 2006 level version of LeBron. And he's still going out there putting up crazy-ass numbers. Oh, I mean, yeah, but I would say he's stat padding. But anyway. And then AD plays when he plays. But that isn't enough to win. To be in the Lakers situation, Laker culture is win or die. When you exit first round after barely making the playoffs, that shit looks bad. Yeah, I agree with that. And look, everybody blaming the front office. Sure, that's a good point. Got no problem with that. My issue is, where was all this solidarity and blaming the front office last year? The same people who are blaming the front office now, because they know that their fearless leader, LeBron James, have sent orders hands off of JJ Redick. Okay? Don't blame him for anything. That's my guy. Because if you blame him, then by extension, you're criticizing indirectly LeBron James, since that LeBron's pick. That's his guy. So they're not going to do that. So what they're going to do is blame Rob Pelinka. They really got no choice now. What they really want to do is blame a ninja, though. So that's what they really want to do, is blame a ninja. That's why you have people like Gil say, oh, I wish Darvin Ham was here so we can blame him. So that's what they really want to do. See, when he said that, he revealed himself. Like the rest of these LeBron minions, they really want to blame a black guy. It's in them. That's that deep seething self-hatred permeates through there. So they really want to blame a black guy. You know, and they really ain't got nobody now. You know what I'm saying? You got Dalton Connect. You got Austin Reeves. I mean, you could blame D'Lo, but, you know, D'Lo, at least from what I've been seeing, they're playing okay. You really can't blame him no more. And plus, they're trying to get away from that third wheel thing, because we've all pointed out that they always blame the third wheel. So they ain't got nobody. They ain't got a brother in the front office they can blame and point the finger at. So they reluctantly are blaming the front office, but they really want to put Darvin Ham back in this situation somehow. See, I heard all these dudes, they like, I don't know, man. It's like they're like zombies that feed off ninja flesh or something. But at the end of the day, this has been proven without a shadow of a doubt that he was never the problem. We've been screaming at the top of our lungs what the problem is. The problem is indeed the roster, but it's also the fact that you got a guy that's 40 years old who's still being featured on the team as if he's a guy in his prime. You got a guy who is getting paid max money, but is not producing at a max level. Yeah, he's putting up decent numbers. In this league, as easy as the scores, that's not that difficult, especially if you played 50,000 years. You don't have to play defense, which another thing that hurts the team. All you got to do is look at the advanced metrics and stats about as far as when he's on the floor versus when he's off the floor, how he individually is hurting his team. But the media, they can't put that out there because that would hurt their brand. And it's just asinine for them to tell the truth. So they got to make up a pack of lies. And the lie, that the most expedient one before was say, hey, it was Darvin Ham fault. Then before that, hey, it was Russell Westbrook fault. And then before that, hey, maybe it was Frank Vogel fault. It was Kyle Kuzma fault. It was whoever fault. Whoever the closest black dude to LeBron is, that's his fault. But only when this team is blown up, when they move past the LeBron era, and in my opinion, preferably if Jenny Busline gave up the team, then I think you would see an improvement with the Lakers over time. But you know what? You can't develop talent, as J.R. Rodder is alluding to. J.R. Smith, excuse me. As J.R. Smith is alluding to, developing the players, you can't do that because this team is in a supposed win-now mode, but they don't have the personnel to do so. Part of that is, too, you don't have really the money to get another max guy like that. Also, nobody wants to play with this team. Nobody wants to play with LeBron James. Why? Well, we already know why. You're going to get blamed for everything that goes wrong. He's going to get all the credit. And more than likely, your value, your brand's going to deteriorate playing with the Lakers. I mean, think about it. At one point in time, Andre Drummond was seen as a borderline all-star player. He goes to the LA Fakers, and what happened? Do we even look at him as that same type of guy? All of the negative press he got playing with the Fakers, he's not the same guy anymore. He's putting up good numbers, but his brand is ruined. Russell Westbrook went from being a superstar to being a role player, making minimum money, I should say, by NBA standards. That's the LeBron effect. He's like King Midas in reverse. Everything around him turns to shit. And as I said before, it doesn't help when you're wasting roster spots on Make-A-Wish Foundation kids, you know what I'm saying? And then you're talking about getting your other kid on the team. That helps? That really shows a franchise that's serious about winning? And by the way, I misspoke yesterday. I said in Darvin Ham's first season, they had a 10-game improvement, which is true, over the year before. I said that they beat a Minnesota Timberwolves team. I think that was in the second round, and that's true. No, first round, excuse me. They beat a Minnesota Timberwolves team in the first round, which is really good. Then in the conference finals, they beat the Warriors. But I said they were 2 years removed from the championship. No, I was wrong. They were the defending NBA champions when the Lakers knocked them out. I think it was in 7 games. They were the defending NBA champions. Think about that. Darvin Ham has the 7th seed, knocked out the defending NBA champions, and they went to the conference finals. Yes, they got swept by Denver, but if I'm not mistaken, I think virtually all those games were competitive. And they lost to the team that ultimately won the championship. And you explain to me how a guy like that gets fired. Then he wins this in-season tournament next year, wins almost 50 games, and he gets fired. Like my brother Ticket TV said, the stench of racism in the air is overwhelming. Because that's what it is. You tell me any other coach, any other nondescript coach in the NBA that has a 10-game improvement his first year over the year before, the coach that he takes over from, a 10-game improvement, goes to the Western Conference Finals, beats the Timberwolves, right? Beats the defending NBA champion in the Warriors, and loses in the conference finals as a 7th seed to the team that ultimately won the championship. Then the very next year, they win almost 50 games, despite dealing with injuries last year, despite what most of us see as the 2 best players conspiring to get him off the team, conspiring to get other players to turn on him. Still win 50 games and lose in the second round to the defending NBA champions. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Now they're just a game above 500, underperforming relative to last year, and no smoke for his successor. No smoke. If Darvin Ham was in the private sector and he performed as well as he did with the Lakers, and he was terminated for let's say job performance, then he's replaced by a guy who looks like JJ Redneck. That guy does infinitely worse, and yet somehow he's praised. You tell me what that sounds like. In the regular world, that sounds like racism. That sounds like racial discrimination and favoritism. Now, is that a situation where you could sue somebody? Depends on the state laws. But I'll tell you one thing, it's morally reprehensible. Morally reprehensible. That's why I don't have any respect for LeBron James. None. Because he moves like an absolute scumbag. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Shout out to J.R. Smith for speaking the truth. They're going to say stuff like, oh, he's a bum, or he only averaged so many points, blah, 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 yaggity schmaggity.